Good morning, everyone. Good Tuesday morning, Tuesday before Christmas. And I hope you're getting everything ready, everything prepared as much as possible. I don't know how you prepare for a Christmas like no other. This is certainly going to be a different Christmas, much like Thanksgiving was a little different this year, and but we'll make it through it, and hopefully by next Christmas, all this will be taken care of. All right, grab your Bible, and we're going to jump back into the 49th Psalm. I'm going to finish it up today. And the psalmist is talking about, has been talking about our attitude, our approach towards the wicked. He often is talking about the wealthy, but again, I hope we all know that just because you're wealthy doesn't mean you're wicked. But for the psalmist, he's talking about those who have become wealthy in a wicked manner and in a dishonest manner. And he's encouraging here. He says in verse 16, "Be thou not afraid when one is made rich, when the glory of his house is increased." He is reminding the righteous not to be overwhelmed, not to be discouraged because the wicked become wealthy. That when they attempt to oppress the believer, that we should continue to focus on the Lord and to be encouraged in serving Him. Verse 17, he says, "For when he dieth, he shall carry nothing away. His glory shall not descend after him." And so he begins by reminding us that we don't take anything with us, whether it's money or fame. And he's again, when he's talking about wealth here, he's talking about the self-sufficient, those that have gotten wealthy dishonestly, and when they die, that they don't take any of that wealth, any of that glory, any of that honor with them, that it ends when they die, that they'll go into eternity with nothing. And so, again, he's talked about it earlier in the psalm that they leave behind their wealth and someone else will spend and take advantage of that wealth. In verse 18, he goes on. Verse 17, he says, "For when he die, he carry nothing away. His glory will not ascend after him. Though while he lived, he blessed his soul, and men will praise thee when thou doest well to thyself." Again, the saddest the thing that he's talking about here is, again, that they're going to leave this world. They're going to take nothing with them, and they're going to die, and they're going to be separated from God, even though it says here, while he lived, he blessed his soul. That all the material wealth, all the earthly wealth, all the earthly possessions a person can amass are useless when it comes time for eternity. All types of material blessings. Again, verse 17, he had said, when he die, he'll carry nothing with him. Even though, in verse 18, while he lived, he blessed his soul. He had all that he can imagine. He had all that he could dream. He says, men will praise thee. They were, everybody looked up to him, talked about him, but ultimately, that man dies separated from God. That man dies not knowing the presence of the Lord, and he will be separated for an eternity from God, because a man has much wealth, because he has the praise of man, because he has all kinds of earthly pleasures. He has all kinds of things that this world can offer. Again, all the luxuries and the comforts and the blessings of this world. The psalmist reminds us that that man's going to leave this earth, and he's going to take nothing with him, and when he stands before God, God will not be impressed. You can't impress the one who created everything, who sustains everything, who owns everything with what you possess, because ultimately it's all his. You're just a caretaker of what belongs to the Lord to begin with. And so, again, it says at the end of verse 18, even though thou dost well to thyself. They have provided for themselves, provided well for their family. But the question is not how big is your bank account, how big is your home, how many cars do you own. The question is, what do you know? What is your relationship with Jesus Christ? And the psalmist finishes this psalm with a startling word. He says, he shall go to the generation of his father, and they shall never see light. Even though they lived in splendor, the Bible describes eternity without God as being cast into outer darkness, being separated from light, separated from all that is good, righteous, and holy. And so, again, he's just reminding us that all the earthly possessions, and again, there's nothing wrong with possessions. There's nothing wrong with accruing wealth. But if you accrue wealth and possessions and you don't know Jesus, he says you go into the darkness and you never know light. In verse 20, he says, man that is in honor and understandeth not is like the beast that perish. Again, he simply says, if you die without Jesus Christ, if you die you can be a self-sufficient and have all those things in the world. Again, you die just like an animal that has no recognition of eternity. And again, unfortunately, many wealthy people are very spiritual and love the Lord, but unfortunately, it does seem like that many times that wealth and possessions are a barrier. There's a hindrance between them and knowing God. Again, they're usually very intelligent. They're very savvy, very business-minded. Know how to make good decisions. They know the business and labor and hard work and all those things, but they just don't know very much about eternity. And so what the psalmist has said to us over these verses is really it's encouraging, but it's also a little bit sad. It's a little bit discouraging that we shouldn't feel sad. We shouldn't be discouraged at the wealth and the well-being of those around us, of those who are wicked. Instead, we look beyond that, and we look to eternity in what we have. I heard a story. I'm assuming it's true. I don't know. It makes sense that there was a little lady not far from here, up in Salisbury. And those of you who are listening from online from different places, Salisbury is the home of Food Line grocery stores. And if you watch in Salisbury, you'll see a lot of times you'll see cars with a gold-colored Food Line tag on the front of them. And my understanding is that that belongs to someone who has $1 million worth of Food Line stock. And I heard the story just last week of a little lady up there who had lived very poorly, who just didn't have very much. Her house was in a great need of repair, and something came up, and somebody found out somehow, said, "You're a millionaire." And she says, "How do you get that?" And says, "Well, you've got a bunch of Food Line stock." And they kept talking, and she didn't know what he was what the person was talking about. And finally, she says, "Well, I gave Ralph Kettner like $100 or something like that back when he started his grocery store." But but what she didn't realize was that $100 had bought stock into the store, and over the years had multiplied and multiplied and multiplied to the point where she was living like a pauper, but she had a huge amount of money stored up. That may be a poor example, but as Christians, that's how we should live. We may not have much in this world. We may not have much. May not have the finest homes and the finest cars, and people around us may have much more earthly possessions. But we have stock. We have money invested in a heavenly home, and we have the great promise that He has gone to prepare a place for us. And don't worry about what people around you have. Don't worry about their wealth. Don't worry about their blessings, their big house or car or whatever it seems they may have. I hope you get that too. But in the meantime, I hope you never take your eyes off of Jesus. And you keep serving Him, keep living for Him. And one day we'll all be home, and we'll all receive our reward and live with Him for eternity. I hope that encourages you. I hope that helps you today to live for the Lord. As somebody said, and I'll finish with this, you've probably seen the little sign, "Live for the Lord. The pay's not much, but the retirement plan is out of this world." Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.